So the seeing Yoshi, like the whole statement on that they're delaying the game, honestly, right now, kind of just makes me sick of how people are reacting to it a little bit, because like in retrospect, like we've had the game going for 10 years now, and they've been really actively keeping things on a tight schedule and like doing a good job at delivering within that timer, you know what I mean? So like it's almost kind of ridiculous that like I know, and people are always like, well, you gotta expect people to get upset, and it's good to have the consumer like voice their expression towards it, and even Yoshi's upset about it and everything. That doesn't mean that you discredit the company, though. You know what I mean? That after they like discussed that they were delaying, it's just ridiculous to me that the community kind of just like a bunch of them are all like automatically bashing everyone that defends Square Enix and defends Yoshi about it. It's like, where are you coming from? Are you just like someone who gets on and raids and then gets off the game and shit, you know, and just you don't even play the game at all? And like, regardless if you've been here since the beginning of the game.
I don't know, man. I think that it's a complexity issue. That's really what it is. You have like, how many people were just like, oh man, I gotta call my boss. I just got accepted for my time off.
Well, and that's a personal issue, you know, that's a personal problem. Like, it isn't Square Enix's responsibility for you to call off time on work and shit, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's their responsibility is the game first and foremost. Like, if it's ready to come out yet, if like things happen to cause like a delay, which they've been good at not having for years, you know. I mean, so like it just kind of baffles me that people actually get that upset about it.
Yeah, it's a matter of personal investment and having their personal investments crushed.
Like, this isn't WoW. This isn't Cyberpunk. Like, but they made a video comparison, Preach did, about, like, what Bezos and them and all them did on their live letters. And whenever they had to apologize, it was just oh, sorry.
Yeah, so...
Oh, I don't know what to tell you.
That's
like,
that's a cultural thing. Dude, that's totally a cultural thing.
But they just didn't act like they had any passion, and it didn't, you know, it's whatever. To them, it is what it is, basically.
It's corpo speak when they do it, too. I mean, to some extent, what Yoshi did last night was a little bit of corpo speak. If you look at some of the body language that he was exhibiting...
Well, Yoshi doesn't look at it that way. You gotta understand that, because, like, a lot of us have known Yoshi since we, like, starting the game, and that's his baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't look at it as like, oh, I need a break, you know?
Disappointed and sad. No. But like, he's just like, man, we've been doing like 16-hour days for like 2 months to make sure that this thing goes off.
Yeah.
Now, to the point, there is a slide that they're talking about readjusting like the XP systems and doing all these other backend.
We're gonna talk about that, yeah.
Yeah.
So starting out, obviously the schedules are the 6.0 release and Walker Early Access is gonna be the 3rd of December now, which is honestly better in my opinion, because like we get to experience Thanksgiving now. A lot of people I even heard on the comments and like people's reactions to it afterwards were even like, oh cool, I can spend time with my family then, you know, and then like instead of like having to worry about like the week of after that being Thanksgiving, you know, and Walker's out. So like now you can just enjoy it, and then it comes out December 3rd. And then you have after that the official launch at the 7th on December 3rd, and then 7th is the official launch for Walker. And then Pandemonium comes out 6.1 release, which will be around 2 weeks after. And then another 2 weeks after that, it's going to be the Savage version. So you have a good month before Savage even hits, which is expected. That's usually how it goes. So that's going to be really nice. That plus the tombstones that are going to be added as well. That's just the sum up story of it. The trailer they announced, I'm going to put the reaction up for that later. That we did. That like we all had for it, and that was freaking awesome. This is just Garlemald, and when I first saw this, I thought, is that Pandemonium? Because we all know, like even Obliv mentioned before, that Pandemonium's going to be the tower. So anyone who doesn't know what Pandemonium is, like we talked about it before, it's from Final Fantasy 4, 2, I think. Didn't we discuss that already? We thought it was like 2 and 4, or was it 3 and 4?
So it gets a little wonky, but yeah, the first interjection was 2.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's known as the tower from like spraying forth from hell, like basically. Like the tower.
So
basically.
We're not gonna have Satan.
No,
like, literally, Satan
we've already fought Hades.
As the last boss. No. I mean, like quite literally in Final Fantasy 2, in Pandemonia, you fought Satan as a boss.
No, it could just be Garlemald, like what they've turned it into. Just I don't know if this is actually the tower or not, but like it's a good assumption of what it will look like, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure because like they've done different inferences of Pandemonium over the years, but I doubt that we would get the fleshy version. But I'm guessing the stuff that we see in trailers, like the H.R. Geiger inspired stuff, is going to be probably that tower that you're looking at right there.
Exactly. And then, of course, we have the moon, Mare Lamentorum. That's going to be really cool. Apparently, they just only showed a little bits and pieces of that because when they talked about it before, when they first like teased it on their first live letter, they mentioned how, even at Media Tour, they mentioned how there's also a dark side of the moon, right? A dark and light side. So like this is just a small part of where we can actually go, which is really cool because that means there's like a bunch of different areas on the moon that we can like go look around and like explore. So that's gonna be really exciting. I'm actually really proud about that. The next one that oh my god, so this popped up, and I've been trying to tell people forever. See you later, man. That I swear this is legitimately them trying to pull a bit of their own Chocobo Paradise. So if anyone played Final Fantasy IX, there was an area in the game that you could only unlock after getting flying with your Chocobo. And after you access that, that's where Ozma was at, and that's how you fought Ozma and everything, right? Well, this is like direct correlation. It looks exactly like it. Like a lot of people would probably say, oh, well, the Sea of Clouds over in Heaven's Sword, it should be that, then blah blah. It's like, no, not really, because it didn't have the whole fantasy look going on. The whole Heaven's Sword Sea of Clouds area was more so just like a floating island area. It was just like it didn't have that like that fantasy-esque going for it, if you know what I mean. And the Final Fantasy IX area for like Chocobo Paradise looked just like that. Now this could be an exploration zone, of course, like a lot of people think it is. Just an exploration area.
This to me, I know everybody knows Chrono Trigger and they're all going, oh, it's Zeal.
Oh yeah.
Like really like even going down to like the waterfall coming off, which is phenomenal. That made me feel things and definitely would open an interesting door.
Yeah.
Bahamut Lagoon. And that's not one that a lot of people
really know
of, but that was the immediate vibe that I got when I saw that.
Mm-hmm. I'm honestly hyped for that, if anything, because I love little side things like that for content. And this, to me, looks like a side content thing. I don't know if it's necessarily tied in the main story or anything, but it could be something that's side tied in that you go to that I'm excited to see. This is honestly the thing that people at first thought, oh, this is what the delay was for. This is why there was a 2-week delay. Like, one of the reasons. Because, like, they've never showed much of this since this picture. Like, since it was teased back when they first talked about it. And that's all they've ever given us for it. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. And they even said they had trouble with, like, getting it down of what they wanted it to be and, like, without spoiling anything. So, yeah. There's probably a lot with that they probably had issues with.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out thematically what they're going to do with it.
Now, I'm going to skip the, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I mean, at first people thought, okay, crafting, gathering, or diadem. Yeah, like Rin just said, maybe something like a diadem.
Maybe, that would actually make sense.
It would be a good replacement if they're going to make a new one.
It would be the Charlene diadem.
Yeah, that's true. It's beautiful if that's the case.
That would make sense. And thinking about it, like, yeah, that would actually be kind of neat.
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I could think of, though. Apart from it being, like, I don't know what else on exploration, unless it's main story tied in or what. Or a new Aziz Law, per se, kind of, I guess. Just their version of it, I guess, over in the clouds. Like, but I don't know where else they could come from. They could do a good job, though, like, if it was a Chocobo-esque paradise, and it was, that'd be really cool, because the Chocobo world ties in where they come from. That's, like, the whole lore behind it. And you played 9. Like, then you meet the Chocobo King and, like, their family and everything, and it was really cool. And, like, that's where you found out that the Chocobos originated from was the Chocobo Paradise. It's, like, up in the sky and everything. So, like, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome if they put that in the game. Because that would, like, tie in with all that nitty-gritty lore that we love about it. But we'll have to see what happens with it. I wish they would have given us a name, to be fair.
Yeah.
At least give us a name.
Distributed, there would have been, like, an idea of what to go with.
Yeah, pretty
But I
much.
think that they're really afraid of doing that because they, again, like spoiler territory. They
Oh
don't
yeah,
want people jumping the gun.
they're trying so hard not to do spoilers at all.
Yeah, like you can see how excited they are, which
Yeah.
is fantastic. That makes me so happy.
Now I'm gonna, yeah, every time Yoshi had this, they just laughed and giggled, and they had like this grinniest look every time they showed this shit. So it's like, well, damn, what the hell is it? I'm gonna skip the slides for the characters, just so it, like, for people who don't want to spoil it and anything, a lot of people are just kind of avoiding, like, you know, descriptions, and a lot of people already know what they are, know who they are. I do want to talk about this character right here. So, when this popped up, there was like back and forth speculations on who it is. And I actually had someone message me this morning that my buddy Game Wizard that I've been talking to in game, and their opinion on it was I guess the majority of the community thinks it's Vanet, the member of the convocation who became the Heart of Hydaelyn, due to her having a white mask and Vanet being revealed as having been a woman in the current expansion story. Now, this is what I was told. So, honestly, I didn't think of that, because at first, the way we saw it was that we thought, okay, this is someone from the ASEAN, like, their whole, like, court, basically. You know what I mean? The people who summoned Zodiac, people who summoned Hydaelyn. And we thought, okay, this is probably one of them that was on the side of Hydaelyn that summoned and she was just gonna come and help us, and she's like, you know, one of them. Because it showed her having the ASEAN mask, of course, like right here on her vestment. And so we thought about that, and then at first I was like, oh no, that's like the embodiment of Hydaelyn, that's all it is, you know, and then I didn't think about it being like someone tied to ASEAN, but actually it's kind of both. Does that make sense, Alwith?
Yeah, and
which makes sense.
Man, I really want to gush on this. I really, really do, just because of where I'm getting in the story right now. And it's, but like I don't want to overshoot. But like, man, I really wanted to gush about this and just be like, oh, I have so many ideas.
Saber's like, ha ha ha, they're delaying. Get beaned, content creators. Most of us are happy about it. What? Like, most of us are actually all happy about it, though. We're not upset about it. Like, a lot of us are actually... I'm actually happy about it, to be fair. I was a little sad at first, but then I got over it. Like, I'm not gonna discredit the company and shit.
Gonna be disappointed.
Yeah. I have some stuff to talk about that later, though. Trust me. Like, oh my god. Okay, so next up we have... Okay, so this bit right here they talked about. So... This is in correlation with, now we're going to be able to write our NPCs with this everywhere. I freaked out when they mentioned this. Because they talked...
You did?
Yeah, I freaked out because it's a 15 element. Like, you know, in 15, everyone, your party, like, they talked in the car. Like, everyone was just, like, kind of their own person in the game. It was more like to add side content to it. And that was one of the cool bits of 15. That was one of the cool things about it that people actually liked. Apart from all, like, some other stuff that had issues that didn't make it really so savorable, you know? So, having this now, knowing that, like, we're gonna be able to take pictures with the NPCs and the characters from the story, that's freaking awesome. Like, that adds a lot more RP elements to the player base, not just to be able to, like, just do stuff and, like, maybe you can go off and have a picnic with them or something. You know what I mean? And just sort of, like, write it, and, like, you can't take them too far off the path, obviously, like they mentioned. Otherwise, it would, like, snap them back, which makes sense. Because then it would otherwise kind of, like, get in the way and, like, interfere with the game. If you could just, like, take an NPC off to another area in the game. Instead of just being, like, you know, it being, like, a line. I'm pretty sure they gave us plenty of leeway. Like, when they were talking about it. Like, in correlation of, like, where you have to go for the main story. But you can also, like, kind of just go around and hang out with them if you want instead first. Which is going to be awesome. Like, hearing the fact that they can get on your mount with you freaked me out. I was like, wait, what? Like, they can get in your car, they can get on your dragon or something, like, anything that's, like, got more mount space? Bro, that's cool. That's honestly a really cool feature. Go ahead.
That's one thing that they didn't really discuss, though, is if you're going to need more than a single person mount. So, if they're going to be following you, yeah, it makes sense. Because have you ever played any other game and you have somebody that's following you and you get on your mount and it's super fast and all of a sudden they're just like, zoom, zoom, zoom. I got to keep up with you. It definitely breaks immersion.
Yeah,
It's
it does.
easier for them to just get on a mount, ride with you, and
Like Grand Theft Auto stuff. When the NPCs
Right.
gets in your car.
Yeah.
Like that was really
But
cool.
it definitely helps keep a little bit more cohesion in the game. Where if you're just always running around in circles by yourself, it's nice to feel like you have party members that they've been slowly incorporating a party system into the game with these AIs.
Exactly.
So now you're going to just have them as your party members. And that's a very interesting all kind of nuanced take on it. Now I don't think that there's going to be the depth that you had with 15, but they're really going to try.
Yeah, they're going to try. Like I
to.
didn't expect them to say they're going to have their own little conversations and talk while you're like with them, writing with them and stuff. I was like, "Wait, what?" Like they apparently put a lot of work into it from what they discussed on it. I'm like, "Well, damn, okay." Yeah, we're about to get to that. Yeah, they're reducing the cost of that, which is going to be really nice, honestly. Okay, so next up is what's the common patch 6.0? The new role quests, of course, obviously, like they've had each expansion. 5 quest lines like they had in Shadowbringers, of course. They're sticking with the main version. So at first, when this came up, we were worried that like some people are confused about how they're going to explain the new jobs coming out, like Reaper and Sage. Because now it's almost seeming like they only have 10 levels to explain it. Now they could continue it up to 90 and have like an 89 quest or something, I guess, or like an 80, like just a tier of quests to explain more of it. But a lot of people I don't think they're gonna have much trouble explaining quests, because if anyone's noticed lately, a lot of the side quests and job quests in the game, the cutscenes and the content they've been putting in H1 have gotten pretty damn long. So, like, that's why some of your job quests and stuff and class quests would take so long to get done. When you're, like, sitting in there watching a cutscene or, like, reading dialogue or whatever, they're trying to fit more into a short time frame of, like, maybe 4 or 5 quests, Instead of it being, like, 10 freaking quests you have to do, like it would be back in AR, where you had, like, a quest every 2 levels. You know what I mean? To have to go back to the town to, like, talk to the guy every time. So this is going to be really nice, I think, that they're sticking with the same thing they had for Shadowbringers. It doesn't bother me at all that there's no level 90 job quest at all, because, like, honestly, at that point, like, this is wrapping up an arc for a story. So at that point, you're not even going to be thinking about that. Like, you're going to be worried about trying to, like, just actually finish the story and wrap it up and get it done. You're not even going to be worried about, like, a level 90 job quest. I mean, they're already confirming that they're having 5 quest line tiers for the role quest for, like, your specific class. Or do I have that the other way around? No? Okay. So,
No.
never mind. There's no job quests. It's just roles. So, like, whatever tier you're playing. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. So, I have a feeling you're going to have your 10 levels, and, they're going to incorporate all that. What they're going to do is that extra quest for completing all 5 quest lines, it'll try and do some sort of element where they're tying all of this together while also incorporating and explaining the Sage and Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
So that even if you don't play those directly, you're going to have a pretty good feel for it. I think it's good that they've removed the job class or the job quest system for unlocking skills for 2 reasons. One, it's incredibly difficult to balance, and which means that it's a time and work effort. And there's definitely there's the joke about the job quest tier list, right?
Mm-hmm.
So trying to define story elements or define this or that, it creates a weird continuity. And secondly, they want you to play the game. They don't want you to separate from groups. How many times have you played with people where it's just oh, I got to this point and now I need this skill, but I still haven't done my level 35 job quest.
Yep, and then you have to go back and do that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So getting rid of that system is a very intelligent design.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer. Okay, after that we have, let's see, we got, what else I talked about? Oh yeah, the same thing, of course. So Studium, I guess these call it. Studium deliveries, same thing as Crystarium deliveries like they had back in Shadowbringers. So this is a really nice thing. I'm glad they kept because everyone enjoyed this thoroughly when it came out. The whole leave, like, it was a positive review on this big time with the crafters and gatherers in the community, so it was like really cool. Like, it had a lot of experience gains. The story was quite enjoyable. Like, turn-ins were really fun. So like, I'm really excited to see what they do with this. Honestly, for Charlian, that's gonna be really cool. So I'm glad that they kept this and decided to put it in Walker. So there's that, and then we got some more pictures of the dungeons. This, to me, when this came out, someone said this looks like Homeless Switch on fire. That was Anthony, I think.
Man. I came from California. They were making jokes about that last night, and they're not wrong.
They're not wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was funny as heck.
That's legit Northridge on a bad day.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for the Studium stuff, not to fire back, but yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Crystarium deliveries was a completely valid system.
Yes, it was. So this one right here. So there's a better picture of this on the website for those that want to go to, and it shows 3 elements in the dungeon. It shows the desert, which is right here if you can kind of see it. It shows lava, which you can't see was on the other right side, and then it shows the ice, the snow, and it's separated by a force field, and you can cross in between these. Be like through a bridge, basically. And this is part of it kind of showing right here. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what dungeon this would be. It kind of just like, so this might just be like for, I don't know if like it ties in story or how. It might be something directly related to the underground base with the Charlians, you know, because they didn't. So what I think about, you know, that area we're going to come up to in a second, that is that underground like world kind of. It's like a city underneath. I think that's under Charlian, because they talk about how like the Charlians have all this vast knowledge and like library, and like they have all this stuff they know about Eorzea that we don't know, and that's reasons why they won't get involved and so on. So like I think that underneath their city is like that area, you know, with that whole like, it looks like the sky and everything, and there might be a dungeon there, that this might be the dungeon in it, possibly, where we have to go to like find something, maybe to like delve into their whatever they're hiding or something like that. Just like my theory on it, I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, there's not enough points of reference just yet to make sense of it.
The next one we have is like this right here. This, when we first saw this, I thought of Final Fantasy VII's Ghost Train. I mean, just the train graveyard for some reason, because of all the trains, I think. I thought of Final Fantasy VII's train graveyard, but this is a lot more cleaner and organized, but it's kind of similar. Train graveyard was.
Just the Midgar station.
Midgar, yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely Garlemald themed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're gonna be.
That's probably gonna be very early.
Time over there.
That's very early, yeah. I'm still stuck on not knowing if we're gonna be going to the moon right off the bat, or we're not even gonna go there yet until like later on. And, like, we're just actually going to be wrapping things up in Garlemald first. You know what I mean? Or, like, are we going to be going across the ocean and going to Charlian first? Or are we going to, like, take care of Garlemald first? Because, like, Garlemald could be, like, the first stop we go to. Maybe.
It depends. But I will say, as somebody that's looking at the thematics and the history of this game, we're not going to see... we may very well not see the moon until 6.1.
Saber's like, you have to find the Shiba Inu god to go to the moon.
Shiba Inu, okay.
To the moon, my fellow Shibas. God.
That's awful.
But
no, it's gonna be one of those things. Like, I'm trying to put pieces together, and if there's a lot of 2, 3, 4 thematics that are going into, that it feels like that it's going into.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if I'm right, I will understand why that floating continent is what is making Yoshi so happy.
Yeah. So this right here is funny, because when it happened, I was like, okay, so in the trailer, they showed Anima. And it basically confirmed it's a trial, because he was testing it out with his class, right? With one of the characters, with the Warrior of Light, for the trailer's sake. And it showed him doing the whole underneath him ability that you would have in Final Fantasy X. For anyone that's not like used to like knowing what I'm talking about, or if ever played 10, Anima is a god that you have, an Aeon basically, a summon like Bahamut, you know, and all the other summons. that you could use in battle, and Anima was one of the secret forbidden summons, kind of like he was a summon that was locked away because he was too just dangerous. Okay, so this is gonna be one of those trials, and I love how they put it as like a secret. There's like the strongest. I'm really hyped about this because, oh my god, like they're not gonna show us what all the trials are, but they did basically confirm that Anima is one of the trials for it. So there's that, and then let's see what else we got here. So we've got the new raid dungeon tier, which is Pandemonium, Asphodelus. Now, the name Asphodelus, that I don't know what that even refers to. Was it Greek, you said? I know the name Pandemonium, they did a little bit of Greek in it.
Yeah, the AE is... That whole thing is going to be, well, Latin, not necessarily Greek.
Yeah. And then Savage, of course, after that as well. It could be part of the raid tier. We don't know.
Does it make sense? Locked away castle.
Yeah, it could be. Like, that's a good idea. Honestly, I didn't think about that. Ariel thinks that Pandemonium, it could be Anima, could be in there as one of the tiers.
I mean, it's very well possible.
Yeah, it still fits.
Like, it seems okay. So, if we're gonna go by literal definition, the Asphodelos is 7 white and pink flowering species of the lily.
Okay, never mind.
More or less. That's.
I don't know if that's tied in because of what they showed.
Yeah, just hear me out. So, we know Pandemonium has been the thing for hell. We also know, like, you know, the 7 layers of hell. Da 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 da. Like, there's a lot of interweaving that's potentially going on, but we'll see. But Pandemonium. Asphodelos,
and they showed pieces of it, like this is the piece of the raid tier, and like seeing this, I was just like blown away by it. I'm like, holy crap! I'm gonna play it, and then you hear the music and everything. It's like, holy, this is incredible.
I can understand. Use the sound moves camera very.
Like this is honestly an amazing job that they're doing. Seeing that got me hyped for the next raid tier. Because like I more so was like I wasn't displeased with the past raid tier, but I wasn't very impressed, only because it involved elements from ARR, you know what I mean? And like for a lot of longtime fans, it was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, we're fighting like alternate nightmare versions basically of like, you know, the past primals and like so on. But like I'm glad for Endwalker, they're kind of just making it new, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be its whole new thing that's we're gonna experience, and that's like, oh my god, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. It's perfect. That's really a good way to put it.
The Lunar Primals was a Final Fantasy IV thing.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Like I said, they've been definitely weaving in slowly but surely.
Yeah.
A lot of thematics from that. So yeah.
Okay, we got that, and then next we've got the new maps that they were talking about. I'm excited for those. The new treasure dungeon, the Excitatron. I think that's what you're supposed to say. So I thought it was like like something Exitron or something, but it's the Excitatron 6000. Like get it, excited kind of thing.
Is that literally what they're calling it?
It's the Excitatron. It makes sense.
That's fantastic, considering it just looks like this very awkward HP Lovecraft meets a circus thing going on.
Yeah. And like I'm glad that they said even on the maps that they have for like the pictures. So like this image right here, they said they didn't want to get the surroundings. They just wanted to show this. They had a hard time getting a picture because of that. So this to me is just obviously Charlian and like kind of a mix of Thav and Charlian. But I'm so glad they changed the design finally after so long. Like, because it's always kind of been like similar in a sense, apart from like the Fae being kind of like Fae-ish when the new maps hit for Shadowbringers. But this seems like a whole new thing, you know? And I'm hoping, honestly, they apply that to the roulette, too, if they keep the roulette in. Because the way the roulette maps work is the roulette doesn't come out until much later in the expansion, and they start with the dungeons first. And then you do the dungeons, and then you get those done, and you're like, you knock those out, and you grind them to all hell, and then you get the roulette, and that's the whole like cool spinny like chances map, and that's gonna be really fun too. So I'm excited for the dungeons. I'm really excited for those. This was really cool. You were actually really happy about this too, with the PvP changes, the overhaul for PvP. So they have a PvP update, new small scale PvP content, Crystal Conflict, a new reward system, and so with this. I'll put the next slide up. So the concept is, it's basically like, at first people thought, okay, this is a mini MOBA. And it kind of is, because it has 3 lanes, but your goal is mainly, instead of destroying the crystal, is to like push it across the arena to the other opponent's side to win. And there are short matches with simple rules that can be played casually, removal of role-based matchmaking and actions, addition of distinctive PvP actions and job-specific adrenaline rushes. This was always already like that. I guess they're adding distinctive. So this is what they said about it when they were talking about it, was that the way it's been before is you had your same actions from your class when you went to PvP. It was just more so crunched in and summarized into like a few button presses. And that was how you played your rotation. And it wasn't like your entire rotation. It wasn't all the actions before. This is just how you played it. And it was more so its own PvP version of a set rotation. Just a lot more simplified. Well, now they explain how the actions they're going to have are going to be completely different ones that are added in just for PvP that you don't use in PvE. So that's going to be really cool. So not just only they're going to be completely removing the feast they already mentioned for 6.1. You're going to be able to play it from 6.0 to 6.1, and they're replacing it entirely with Crystal Conflict. They're adding a casual base for the PvP side of the player base. And it's more so not just casual, but they're also adding in the fact that they're going to have a set reward system for it, for if you want to play it, and it's going to give you time to get everything you need, and it's not going to be FOMO based or none of that. They even made sure to specify that it wasn't FOMO. And if anyone doesn't know what FOMO is, it's a fear of missing out. So like Destiny had a bad habit of this for a while, of like putting content.
Still do.
Kind of still do it. Apart from now, they leave the seasons in for you to complete it. You know what I mean? You would basically get in the game, and when content came out, like a pass of like a set list of rewards that you had a certain amount of time to obtain. If you didn't get online and play during that period, well, when they were gone, that was it. You wouldn't get those back. Like all those rewards you missed out on, you wouldn't be able to obtain anymore. So now with this system involved, we're hoping they even tease that they're going to be putting all the rewards in from past PvP fights, the feast that we missed out on. This is a lot more easier to get involved in, and it honestly looks a lot more fun. Not to mention we can have 5 people on our team with different jobs. Then we can just like 2 tank it, 2 heal, like 5 DPS if we want, and as long as they're different jobs, you know? I mean, that's crazy. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. They didn't specify if we could blue mage it. They didn't specify if Blue Mage could go and play in this. And like, that was a big question as soon as it came up, if Blue Mage is going to be a topic on this, because Blue Mage is so broken, like, enough as it is already with like what you can do with your spells. Imagine it being in PvP. That would be freaking crazy. Now, I don't think, honestly, they're going to allow it personally, because not only are they probably going to cap it up to 80 once Endwalker hits, that unless it has its own specific role actions for PvP specifically only, I don't know how they're going to do that, or even if they're just not going to allow it like we think they're going to, and it's still going to just be its own separate like part of the game. But other than that, they explained it more so like Team A, Team B over here. You push the crystal to one side to win, of course. Now that's going to be really cool. Now, no one knows exactly how the feature is going to work. They're going to have in-game elements like traps you set off that you can use on the enemies. Here's another area that you're going to be able to go to. Here's how the season works, of course. It's just periods, basically. So you can play any PvP content goes towards your season, which is really cool. The season goes on, Crystal Conflict only, and then the series for PvP content. So, like, it's really nice. This is awesome. So they're making it so you can basically just get anything you want from all of it. It does look fun. I'm so excited about it, Arya. And, like, we all knew they were going to overhaul it, and people talked about it. They just couldn't tease it as much, you know? But like as soon as they mentioned that, and this is perfect timing with the WoW community coming over, or the majority of them, because like they wanted a PvP, but they're so used to like the whole FOMO and like just, you know, like we had issues with win trading, but this more so is gonna help solve it. I'm hoping if they implement the system better, so that win trading's harder to do, maybe. But this is going to be making it more so a casual, but also competitive at the same time PvP. And a lot of people always had that question of like, why do we gotta have PvP? You know what I mean? And like, oh, why do we gotta have this? It brings out the worst in the community. It's like, the way that Final Fantasy XIV has always been is it's a game culmination of everything that gamers want in a video game. Okay, they're trying to make a game, excuse me, that is the culmination of what I've always wanted in a video game that is going to make us all want to play it. Something for everybody. Okay, it's not just going to be a game with just one straight line goal and this one thing you do and that's it, because you're gonna get bored. You know what I mean? There's no point in having that. There's always gonna be something for everybody to play. So like, I never understood why everyone got so mad about like, though this is in the game, or this isn't in the game, or this is in the game. To me, dude, I'm sorry. This looks like the friendliest battle pass I've ever seen in my life. They're not charging you for it. I mean, you're already paying the sub, playing the game. There's no reason to like get butthurt that they're having this in the game now, because it's honestly a really fun feature. They're gonna have gear mounts and other items involved in the rewards. I mean, this is perfect. This is awesome. This is literally gonna be the end game for like people who have done everything, raiding and everything. You're gonna be stuck doing PvP while you're waiting for your next raid day. The calling card system they're adding in as well, which is gonna be really fun. They only talked about it briefly, but from what we surmise from it, it's more so from all the other games, are going to have like a little placard with your name or like your special little overlay basically that you can put into the game.
So like the PvP system overhaul, them doing every last thing that I hope that they would have done made me happy.
Yeah.
Bringing back like saying like, yeah, man, like we're going to remove this whole like reward for systems for things that like haven't been in circulation for like 6 years. I think that's really fun. The feast was just problematic. Realistically, it was just a problem for a lot of players.
Even the people that were like legitimately invested in the feast were happy it was getting removed.
Yeah.
Like literally all
Because
the people that were literally
dude.
yeah, like all the people who enjoyed the feast and loved it were like, good, I'm so glad you're getting rid of it. Thank you so much. And then they're like implementing this whole new PvP system. It's like, yeah because it was a bad, system. It just didn't work well.
It was a functional system for the time, but it doesn't have the things that need to have a PvP system actually work in like modern times.
Exactly.
It was there for filler. It wasn't there for entire game systems. And that was one of the biggest downfalls of it. The other was just the amount of stuff that you had to do for such an intrinsically low reward. And that intrinsically low reward was only stopgapped by people either inting, win trading, or intentionally griefing is a problem.
Yeah.
So them saying, yeah, we got to nip this in the bud. We're going to make this new system that's accessible for people. We're going to do all of these other things because we want the game to be fun and interactive rather than, being completely based on, yeah, I'm going to sit on an 8-hour queue and wait for somebody to wake up so I can go do the feast so I can get from 102 to 101. And maybe somebody will queue only for them to int. It kills the entire dynamic.
And so then they mentioned that, of course, the feast is going to be unavailable as patch 6.1. After 6.0, 6.1, you can still kind of play it if you want a preseason just to, like, experience the rest of it. And then they mentioned how at that point, 6.1, then the new PvP system comes in and there's feast is gone. And that's just how it's going to replace it, basically. So that's going to be really exciting. 6.1 looks so good. Like 6.0 doesn't look good enough. 6.1 is gonna come in with another hammer, like with a bunch of content. Like shit. Mm-hmm. It's like you got launch, and then next month after you got all this other shit. It's like, oh my god, dude.
This is actually the most content they've ever added.
Yeah, that's the most content they've ever added. Like for an expansion in general, it's freaking ridiculous. This is crazy. Let's get those feast achievements now. Well, they're overhauling the achievements too, so there's no point, honestly.
Yeah, they're probably, I wouldn't say
I mean, you're going to have the titles probably, and like some of the things that like they're going to take away, but you'll still have the titles, you know what I mean, and work for them. They're not going to take them from you, you know what I mean? But yeah, like,
they're probably not going to get rid of those, but they're definitely going to reincorporate them in a different means.
There'll be there'll be other ways to get them, if that makes sense, basically. So that'll be really cool. So next is the high quality items no longer. Okay, so Arya and all of us that craft and gather and shit, like, woo, we are happy about this. I was happy about this, honestly. I was.
I'm half and half on it.
You are?
Like, yeah. So hear me out.
Okay, I'll listen. Go ahead.
We're getting rid of high quality fish, but now we're giving you big fish.
I mean, it makes sense though,
You know,
right?
like, I get it, but changing the name is not getting rid of the system.
Well,
You
it's
know
not
what I'm
high
saying?
quality anymore though. It's just larger.
Yeah, but it's going to be effectively high quality.
Well, the fishing system is its own thing though.
That made me kind of bummed, but spearfishing made up for it.
Dude,
Cool.
the
We're good.
spearfishing. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. That looks so good. Yeah, it gets
But getting rid
Arya's
of
like
it
it gets rid of
mining
mining.
and
Yeah.
botanist,
Yep.
really good.
Yep.
Because there needs to be tangential rewards to actually crafting the materials to craft.
Yep, remove that
rather than just
clutter.
saying, I'm only gonna buy high quality and normal quality is just like, good luck everybody, go AFK and see if you get something good.
I wonder if anyone's noticed, like, with them removing all these little nitty-gritty things in the game lately, that they're trying to get rid of stress in the system by doing this. Not just the high-quality stuff, but, like, the gills stuff, like the inflation and everything, trying to, like, balance out the, you know, the everyone hoarding gil.
We'll
and
talk
then,
on the gill thing in a minute.
yeah, go ahead.
When you get to it, because
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
lots to say about it.
And then we have, let's see, we got that. The crafting, of course, new actions will be added, existing actions will be adjusted, recipe progress, quality values will be adjusted in accordance with value downscaling across the board, as expected. Along with the above, further adjustments will be made so that the difficulty of crafting high quality items will not increase significantly in 6.0. This right here was what we were worried about. So we thought since they were removing high quality items, oh, it's going to be harder to craft high quality crafts. No. They're going to adjust it so that it's like, you're probably not even going to notice a difference at all, honestly.
No, not
Okay, I'll
really.
bring him in.
And that's what I was saying from the get-go. They weren't removing high quality.
They were just trying to
They're
make the
just
system
removing
more
high-quality
smoother,
collectibles.
basically. Yeah.
So like you're still gonna have high quality threads. You're still gonna have high quality leathers. You're still gonna have high quality ingots and nuggets. But not having to do that. The other thing that might be really nice, and they haven't really said it, but I've noticed it in Shadowbringers. I am so tired of seeing like, oh yeah, you're making this, well it has 40 durability. Oh, you're making this, it has 35 durability. In Shadowbringers, I didn't really notice that. So with them doing the transition, that might be just them saying, okay, everything's 80 durability from now on.
Mm-hmm. So mining and botany, of course, new actions, the same thing will be added and existing actions will be adjusted. They were fixing the name apparently for perception because in other languages apparently it was having some issues with being taken wrong or hard to understand, I guess.
It translates differently.
Yeah.
Some things are just simply lost in translation.
Yeah. You gotta love language, right? Greater perception heightens the chances of trick. So this is cool. So they basically gotten rid of the whole high quality chance system and made it so you have a chance of triggering an action buff that would give you higher yield, which that's awesome. I'm all for getting more of my mat. Okay. That's like what we all want out of everything when it comes to melts, getting more of it. This is going to make it a lot nicer when it comes to like getting what you need to craft what you need to craft. So like that's awesome. I love that. Now, I'm not saying that the probability of it's going to be high or anything, or like it's going to be a good chance in general. It's just a nice system change from the high quality one, though. To be fair, so that's going to be really nice. We've got, okay, after that, fishing, of course. Yeah, the large fish now appear in place of high quality fish. And then the action scripts will be adjusted.
That will never make me not laugh. That will never make me not laugh. It's like, yeah, we got rid of high quality stormfish and just called it fat fish.
At least it makes sense now, though.
Oh, I know.
At least it makes sense. Ari's like,
long as
hopefully
they're
making
not-
high quality pre-crafts will have a large effect on high quality chance for items. Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully. They did put it in parentheses, large sized.
Yeah. Like the biggest quotations. It just, I saw that and I just laughed. I'm just like, okay, it's not high quality. It's large size now. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Okay.
And then, of course, the mini game. I'm going to watch this again real quick with you guys because this was really freaking cool.
Oh, man. I'm gonna say something when it's going on.
God.
これでもね、
楽しそう
この最中に使うアクションとかもあるんで、
なるほど。
はい、警戒
That's so cool.
Tell me this isn't some WarioWare level shit, man.
You're not wrong. But dude, we need more stuff in the game like this. Like, make a crafting mini game. Like after, like, be cool if like after we finish a craft, like yeah, you didn't know about this, Arya? With the whole mini game? Yeah, this is literally what you do now for your spearfishing. Don't gut crafting. Well, crafting's easier than it was. We all know that. They've made it so much easier than it used to be. You know what I mean? Like, they've made it so much easier. Like, fluid. Like, what I meant by a mini game was, like, make a mini game where at the end, when you finish a craft, you had to, like, do some small little mini game to, like, maybe add more
Like
other
maybe
benefits.
polish it or something.
Yeah,
like that. Be, like,
something.
some little imperfection. to
You know
just,
how, like,
leave
in...
that last
Yeah, you know how,
little
like, in
bit.
Pokemon,
Yeah.
you could polish your badges and shit? And, like, little stuff like that. It's just so fun. Yeah, true. Arya's like, but now I make less per craft if they do that. Okay, yeah. Efficiency over, you know. I guess there is a boundary. But this is cool. Because the fact is, no one even cared about spearfishing at all.
Because it hasn't existed.
It hasn't existed. It was literally just in Stormblood. It's literally
It was
all
in
it
Stormblood
was.
for like one zone. The only thing that spearfishing gave you was 28 more GP. Give me a break. Dude.
Yeah, it was insanely hard. Yeah. Oh, for the old crafting? Yeah, well, it was old. It was more fun, but it was insanely hard. Yeah, that's why a lot of people talked about the joke with the whole crafting mentor shit.
I don't know, man. Like, crafting just seems like it's.
You
been
had to use
optimized
your
out.
brain more.
Yeah,
Well, in the
I
past.
understand that.
But it is
And
optimized that more.
Yeah, but like when everybody's just said, "Oh yeah, this is the default go-to," nobody actually has to, think about.
My
their
big
job.
beef on this right now, though, that I have, and a lot of people probably think about this, because they have not added any spearfishing besides Stormblood. Well, like, what? And people are like, "What are we gonna do? Spearfish on the moon?" Like, are they gonna add spearfishing to areas in Charlian now and stuff? Like, there has not
Like-
been any updating on the system until we saw the minigame. But are they actually taking the system to where it's actually going to be implemented to where, like, okay, for something really hard that we need to get, instead of fishing for a fish, do we have to go spearfish for something now? You know what I mean?
It'll probably be a little bit of both, but
I want it to be.
realistically, It's going to be like your spearfishing is like you're going to be underwater. I don't want to hear, "Oh, well, we're going to spearfish on the moon." Bro, you fished in clouds in an entire expansion.
If they do go fishing on the moon, which there probably will be, it's open area, and you can fish everywhere in the game. Okay? Like, there's either water or you're in the sky. One of the two. And there's now going to be space fishing. You watch. Anthony even called it, there will be space fishing, I guarantee you. Like, where you're
They
fishing.
gotta have wings too.
Yeah, they're gonna have like wings or something, and it's like this fish that's like survives in the like openness of space somehow or some shit.
Space shrimp or some shit.
Space shrimp. I really hope there's mining or botanist nodes on the moon that is some kind of cheese. Oh my god. They might. Honestly, Arya, they might. You know how they do things, right? Just have some kind of like material that's like cheese of the moon, or some kind of like reference to it. Like like moon cheddar or some shit.
If they do that, you know it's going to be some wonky ass DuckTales reference.
It probably will. Oh, it'd be so good. Yeah, apart from that, we got the spirit fishing adjustments. Upon locating team waters, players will now directly utilize their harpoon to catch fish, greater immersion, enjoy special minigame actions. Yep, that's what they showed.
So the other thing is, like, I didn't really do too much fishing in Stormblood, but at least now it looks like there's an actual living marker for where you can spearfish.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's something I really got.
Easier to find.
Well, it's not just that. It just makes the world feel a little bit more alive. And
Yep.
also, like, when you're trying to fish, I'm sorry, but a lot of people that just wanted to learn how to fish and never left ocean fishing, like me,
This one.
finding the specific fishing locations and dealing with all of the random inconsistencies with the fishing minigame that exists, I was so happy to just be done with ARR fishing. And just because they've made it better, but it's still an absolute shit show. Like, I love them, but man, I feel like I'm gambling every time I go ocean fishing to try and get a script.
Yeah. So on this one, this is the one that you're going to have some opinions about all with. So the amount of gil rewarded per leave quest will be adjusted in light of the gil inflation. The XP and gil rewarded by trade-crafted fishing leaves requiring a large number of items are currently too high and will be reduced. The XP and gil rewarded by certain other leaves will be increased. So this is going to completely nerf the whole coffee biscuits.
It's not going to nerf it.
Well, you're not going to be able to farm it like we do now.
Okay, so it's not going to
Arya's like, lame.
It's not going to nerf it. You have to look at it in context. It's going to nerf culinarian leave quests and restructure it so that other job classes are viable. Secondly, it might actually bring back combat leave quests, which haven't been a thing since ever.
But I'm honestly, I'm all for it.
Between that
I didn't care really.
Yeah.
Arya's like culinary isn't even the highest rewarding leave turn in though. Blacksmith is. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to look at
this is
cost
in general
efficiency
all
per
around
reward.
though.
Like I can literally make, what 5,000 to 8,000 gil for 600 gil of materials.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping
Whereas
they don't write it
Blacksmith
off.
is like 8,000, 9,000 gil in materials for 13,000 gil turn in. It looks systemically higher, but the material cost in time cost is different.
Yeah. I'm only worried that they're not trying too hard like on it to like write off leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
I just hope they
I'll be
don't
honest.
make it in a system that's kind of just like ignored because of them trying to like, gate it now.
Well, no, I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't touch leaf quests at all.
Well, most people don't. What they do is they touch them up to the point where they can do firmament, and then that's all they do. Now.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
it.
even do that. The only time I did leaf quests was like the first couple of days that I played this game. And then I'm like, oh, you mean the MSQ and blue quests give more experience and I don't get time gated? And 3 months later, I've been sitting at 100 tokens and I still hadn't done a leaf quest. The only time I did a leaf quest was a guild leaf quest for my ARR relic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, bring me a system where I can actually interact with the game at any level and I don't have to be locked by a specific job.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It's an awesome thing. So system adjustments require. So I was so happy about this. So they teased it back at Media Tour. Miyoshi already mentioned it in an interview before. Required and earn XP downscaling. All classes and jobs, retainers, and trust NPCs will be affected. The time, number of duty clears, etc. required to level up will remain unchanged. So what this means, what they're doing, is the main story quest line will level you respectively from 80 to 90. Just the main story quest line. The side quests that you usually would have to do alongside your MSQ to keep yourself from getting gated. Because the way we used to do it, every expansion launch was, we started off, each new area, we did all the side quests that popped up, all the main story quests that were in that area before moving on to the next zone, because that was how you kept yourself from getting gated and having to go back and do another dungeon or two to keep up with the MSQ. Now, basically what this means is you can just do MSQ all the way through, and you will not get gated. There will be no stopping point. You can just go all the way through and stay focused on the story and just enjoy it. And then after you're done with that class, maxed it out, you can go back and do the side quests and do the exact same thing. Do all the side quests in each area all the way up to level 90. Not even having to do a dungeon. That's going to be so freaking nice. That's like 2 classes right there just giving to you. Because everyone knows side quests and shit are not only is it enjoyable for the lore and the backstory of the new expansion, but it's also just they're easy compared to just dungeon grinding. It's a nice change of pace, if that makes sense. And what do you think about that, Albeth? I'm honestly happy about that.
I can't really say much because I was always consistently overleveled because I'm somebody that likes doing their
A road to 70 was broken.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I was level 80 before I was halfway through Heaven's Word. I was working on a second job class before, but I also sat and did a lot of stuff for a few weeks. But leveling a primary class has never been an issue. It's always been the amount of time that you get to invest. So something that I wanted to do was actually finally go back and start clearing grounds, because I haven't done them since the start of the game.
Yeah.
I would love to go back and get my.
It took me a whole summer
delivery
one
model.
time because I used to
think
do
that's
that.
Awesome. I would love to go back and do all of these other systems.
The delivery
But I'm
Moogle is
consi-
fun, by the way.
Yeah,
It's a good
like,
one.
I would love to go back and do all of this other extra content, but I'm consistent until like I'm max level. I'm consistently locked to MSQ and roulettes. Like that's my
Yeah.
time.
It took me.
Yeah.
I remember back. I used to do that. I used to be in the same spot you were right now, and I used to just blast through story. I never once touched the side quests for years, and it got to a point where before like this was towards the beginning of Stormblood, when Stormblood was already out, and like we're looking back, and me and Ariel are like looking back at our content log, you know, with like all the side quests, and we had not touched anything apart from MSQ. And it gets overwhelming at a point because of how many side quests there are in the game. So, like, it took me, personally, a whole summer. Literally, a whole freaking summer to clear out all the side quests in the game. It was like a freaking endeavor. It was a huge undertaking, honestly, on my part to do that. And Ari's like, do them while dungeon queue and use Wondrous Tales, easy XP. Yeah, but I queue as tank or healer, so I never have time to do anything. Roulettes take up about a solid few hours a day just to get it done. Yeah, now you can speed level like crazy, probably, Ari, if you want now. Just do MSQ, your Wondrous Tales, and your dailies, and boom. You know?
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
So, yeah, so it's going to be one of those things. Like, I'm somebody that likes doing dailies. I'm somebody that likes meeting new people. So I did the roulettes.
Talk about making 80 to 90 a cakewalk if you have all your classes you're leveling. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm happy. I love being able to keep all my shit up leveled and not having to invest my entire life in a game.
White mage already ready to go.
Yeah. So this is
Or
really...
Astrologer. I don't know. I could take whatever fucking healer I want into Endwalker because I'm ready on all of them.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much what I'm trying
Then
to
they
do at
mentioned,
this
of course, the
point.
mid-level XP reset. This is no big deal for those that were like freaking out about it. All it is like make sure you have your level like, you know, up there. Don't like be like sitting at like halfway to 70 at like almost a smidge left to 70 at 69, and then launch hits, and then you go back to that down to 69.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Just
worry
bash
about
it out.
that one too much because it's already pretty quick to level if you
Yeah.
do roulette.
They even explained like they had to do it this way because they tried to go into the game and they thought about it, you know, like if they had to like do maintenance to take maintenance down to like go into each nitty-gritty thing, it would take them 3 fucking days.
Weeks.
Oh, 3 weeks.
No, 3 weeks.
Jesus Christ, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because they'd have to go through every single thing. Because
Yeah.
like if one of those offset variables didn't happen, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, well we downscaled your XP, but now you're max level and you never got the stat adjustments.
Exactly.
Now we have to fix your entire character.
That sounds like a WoW move. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's something they would do though. When it came
So
to an
it's
update.
easier for them to just like think about it in terms of like everybody's character data is literally just a giant spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So it's literally easier for them to say, you know, an object point reader of okay, it's this level, and if it's this level, then once patch day hits, then EXP equals 0.
Exactly.
Than having to do all of these other jumping through hoops measures just to make sure that 0.0001% to like the ad infinitum are happy that they still kept 15% of their XP bar because reasons.
Yeah.
It's easier to do. It's super fluid to get it done this way.
Or is like, imagine not being all 80. Imagine not having a life. Hey, that's because, like, coming into an MMO when I first played, I never saw a reason to level anything else. Until I started taking it a lot more serious when it came to wanting to help people out. Like, that's where I took my mentoring seriously in game. Like, when I actually wanted to become a mentor and help other players, then I actually felt incentive to level everything because I wanted to know how they worked. That way I could give my opinion on it. You know what I mean? I didn't like the fact that I didn't have anything else leveled, so I couldn't give my opinion on the class or anything because I didn't even know how to play it. You know what I mean? So that's why that's what honestly pushed me to level everything. It wasn't more so just being lazy. It was more so I never saw a reason. I thought more so, oh, like, yeah, I'll level Dragoon all the way to max. Okay, I'm done. Like, for years I thought that way. Until I started, you know, looking at wanting to help other people in the game. Ari is like, imagine being a summoner main. Hey, I'm so excited for summoner changes though. Come on now.
You're gonna have a hard time with T though.
No, we're happy. We're gonna clear T before Walker now.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, everyone literally in our static is like, nope, no excuses now. We have another month. No excuses. We're at the end of the fight. Literally. We are at the end of the fight. Like, we are already about, we're into perfect damn near. We're at Enrage at the first part of, after, Wormhole. And so we're about to hit Perfect Alex. Perfect Alex is just a home run. It's a fun, like, part of the fight. For those, like, after studying it and everything, oh, I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm hyped. So. Okay, so after that, we got... Did they put anything else in there? Yeah, all classes and jobs, retainers, and trust NPCs will be affected, of course, yeah. So that's
Imagine
weird.
leveling trust on your NPC.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you better make sure they're all leveled up, too, then. Because they'll just go back down a level. I haven't leveled my NPCs up for trust. That surprised you, but that's kind of a niche thing.
I play White Mage. I don't have queue time, so I don't have to worry about it.
I know. Then they talk about, again, of course, the Alloc and Tombstone changes. Alloc and Tombstones of Aphorism, Astronomy. Astronomy is going to be the raid tier 1 set that come out 4 weeks after 6.0. Those are respectively going to come out with Savage. So these are going to be for that. Aphorism are going to be the first ones that hit, and then Astronomy will be the next ones.
I love the name that they're using for it, though.
Oh, what, Astronomy? Or
No, aphorism.
Aphorism. What's that mean?
If it ain't, literally, it's a type of adage. So, like, if you said it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh, wow. That's funny. That actually does work, then. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, I mean, it's just like any type of, like...
Ren mentioned that.
Type of thing like that. It's so I think it's fun that they're using, you know... I find it so interesting that their understanding of language is so incredibly vast.
It's hard for you to see that, but there you go. So, number of Algon Tombstones Astronomy added. Number of tombstones needed reduced from 1,000 to 500. Now, this is freaking awesome. I know a lot of people are going like, oh, you're making it easier to grind. It's like, well, this is nice because, dude, I hate waiting 2 weeks to get my damn tombstone weapon.
Yeah,
it sucks.
This is a double-edged sword. This is a double-edged sword, Nog.
Well, we can actually kit all our classes a lot quicker now, though.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, this right here, yeah, it might be 500. They might also lower the weekly cap to 450 instead of 900.
Oh, you're right. We don't know.
You don't know how much you're going to be making.
They could make you only
a system directly in place.
Well, no, they did confirm though that they are reducing it because they don't want it to be 2 weeks anymore. Yoshi and them explained that during
that's fair.
They didn't want it to be 2 weeks, so that means that you're going to be able to cap out at 500 like it's been. Arya thinks it'll be 450. Well, if that's the case, it won't be 2 weeks of grinding still, because like the first day of the next reset, you can just do
system, so that you can do one weapon a week, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But like capping out at 900 with you needing 1,000 is kind of like it's a little wonky. Like until I started doing actual content, like I kept being motivated to go on my 80s for roulettes so that I could try and get to my cap every single time. And that was a pain in the ass because it demotivated me from like playing the game to where I could catch things up.
Yeah. Well, now it's going to be a lot nicer on it. It's a lot more, less grindy, I think. It's going to be really nice to get your tombstone weapon now. If you're not doing Savage, of course. Like, obviously, if you're doing Savage, you don't need to worry about your tombstone weapon. Unless it's, like, your BIS for, like, you know what I mean? Apart from the crafted weapon. Or whatever trial comes out.
Yeah, speaking of, man, I actually might have time to do one relic weapon now. So I'm kind of keen.
Yeah, everyone's, like, legit happy about the delay. Like, the majority of the community that has been with this game since the freaking beginning are ecstatic. Not even upset one bit. Because, like, literally, in the end, all we care about is the game being the best that it can possibly be. Like,
I'd rather have a perfect game.
Yeah, because, like, we have a freaking brain.
I don't want to have Final Fantasy 2077. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, this isn't fucking WoW. This isn't Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? Like, perfect example. I mean, yeah, you could be upset about it, like be bummed, but don't discredit them. That's all I mean. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Ren's like, I mean, I can say I'm a little bummed, but I'm not upset. Like, yeah, Ren, you don't have nothing against Yoshi and them because of it at all. Like you just upset that we didn't get it when like we were expecting it, which is understandable. Everyone everyone has a right to that.
Is weird, to be honest. Some of their timetabling now is kind of weird. Like, so their initial image for Savage is Savage typically 2 weeks after release of content, or is it a month?
Oh, Savage is usually a month. Normal comes out 2 weeks after. So they don't rush it ever. Trust me. Like the way it usually works with Shadowbringers was so it story came out 2 weeks after normal hit with also alongside the first Alliance raid with normal for people to get geared up, right? Okay, and practice the fight before Savage, and then 2 weeks after that, Savage would hit for that tier.
Okay.
And then so on and so on and so on until the whole entire series. It's stretched
it's just
out.
2 weeks to gear before you get.
They give you plenty of time. Like they don't just rush you into it. You know what I mean? Like WoW does with like fucking their mythic raids and crap. When they just like give it to you and they force you to.
Monster, though.
Yeah, that's a whole other monster. But yeah, we don't have to. Yeah.
But like, yeah, it seemed like it would have been good to give a month for at least the first raid tier so that people would have had time to, get 80, give them like 2 weeks to hit 80, give them 2 weeks to gear, and then start unlocking.
Uh-huh.
But because of that 2 week discrepancy, something had to kind of go to the wayside.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot.
It's going to be a pretty frenetic push to 8 or to 90 rather.
Yeah. We got the achievement UI update, near completion recommended tabs we added. This is a cool little feature. A lot of people are happy with it just because this is more just a quality of life update. Of course, like I love these kind of things because like after like they're really good at quality of life updates. Ever since Shadowbringers came out, they've been hamming out quality of life like crazy. Like just little things here and there, and the little things are honestly what brings the game into the immersion perspective and just makes it all around enjoyable. Like the little things make sometimes the biggest difference, and a lot of people like know that after playing the game for so long. Like that's the thing that people start to more so look at than just the content. You know what I mean? People like will complete everything in the game, but then they'll be looking back. The last thing you're to look at, you'll be like, well, this little thing could be changed. This little thing. Well, this little thing. And those are the things that they're really good at like working on, and that's why I love them. So the journal is just more so. Like I mentioned before, like he was messing with it. It has tabs. It's more so just like a book now. It's more organized. It's cleaner, more fluid. It's really gonna be really aesthetically pleasing, nice to look at when you're looking through your stuff instead of it just being some fucking UI block, like we've had for a while. So it's gonna be really nice.
So it looks like they're getting rid of, potentially getting rid of. No, they're actually moving the relevant for approaching completion to its own tab. That's the one on the right, the brown tab.
Yeah.
So now that's going to be in its own specific area, which is nice.
Yeah, that is nice. And it shows see when he's in the other tab. I don't know if these are new achievements. These look like this is a map achievement right here. This is a tank one because you got your cooldown with that reference. This is why I need to learn Japanese. Ario, what the heck? Little things make the biggest difference, Nogard. More of a motion of the ocean kind of guy. What the fuck does that mean? And then, of course, he showed what the area looked like, was kind of showing off. This was really cool. We've already got a campfire and a freaking pillow as a minion, but now we got a picnic basket that we can open and close. Come on. They're really trying to add... That's another RP element. People are going to love this minion.
That's actually really cute.
Yeah, that's cool.
Imagine sitting on the cliffs of Colossia with your partner with the picnic basket in front of you guys.
Yeah, dude.
Take pictures.
The only thing, I'll say it now, the only thing I'm kind of weirded out about, the plates have eyes, man.
Oh, God, the plates have eyes. Oh, yeah, because it's still technically a minion. That's freaky. I get you, yeah. Okay, so we got that.
The heroes have eyes.
And we have a bread emote, so as we're sitting with the picnic basket, we can eat bread or an apple or something.
Yep.
What the hell?
Yep. So we got system adjustments with group pose, can now be activated while playing an instrument. That was a big sought after thing people were talking about for concerts and shit.
Yes.
Yep. And then the company action back on your feet. This is cool little feature I wasn't expecting. They're replacing it. So back on your feet was the whole weakness reduction. Okay. If I'm correct, right?
It was useless. No
It
one
was
ever used
like
it.
no one ever. It was more so used for Prague, if anything. But to be fair, come on. No one cared. Like, no one ever used it during Prague. Like, if you're gonna die, wipe. If you're gonna die, just wipe and start over when
I
it comes
think
to
they
Prague.
noticed that statistic. And were
Yeah,
like,
they
well,
noticed that. It's well, like no one really cared though, Arya. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It wasn't that big a deal. And they even mentioned that they adjusted it for progging. Like, you know what I mean? For like other reasons. So like instead they replaced it with an action that extends your sprint duration in cities, which honestly that's gonna be kind of nice. But I don't know. Like I honestly don't know if we're gonna have a week to use it. To be fair, like I mean I know we're gonna have reduction in fast travels, and then we're gonna have our 20% level 3 buff for FC that I'm stacking up. But sprint duration? I don't know. Maybe they're like then it's the easier so you can just like sprint everywhere like a lot longer. How long are we talking? You know?
So what they're
I know,
saying
exactly.
is that sprint is essentially going to last long enough until it's almost off of cooldown. They didn't specifically say exactly how long.
Because right now, what is it? 30
I
seconds?
could see it being, it's 20 seconds out of combat with a 60-second cooldown.
It'd be cool if they made it like a minute long.
If they made it like 45 seconds, okay, cool. I'll go do my sprint, then I'll swap to, Bard or something else, pop a Peloton for 15 seconds, whatever. If it's straight up like you get it for like 58, 59 seconds, then you just pop sprint again. It's going to cause it's going to make people kind of.
Well, this is only in
salty.
cities. It's not in
But at the
combat
same-
or anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is like the side notes of that is you only have so many company actions, right?
Yeah. Well, you're allowed to hold like
So-
30 or something like that. I forgot how many
No,
we
but
can
I
hold
mean,
in
like, you
total.
can't pop like every single company action.
Only two,
buff. You can only
two
pop
at once.
two
Yeah.
at a time.
It'd be nice
So-
if we could hold more than 2. I don't know why they haven't added that. To be fair.
Yeah, so that's something I was going to say is like if there was a utility buff, this type of buff, an XP buff,
I
this
wish.
type of thing.
I would add
So
like
that
3,
there was
4 buffs.
functionality, so like company actions could do more than just 2 things because that's literally the definition of the meta.
Yeah.
It's just better XP gain.
And if they want to,
or
they want to
better
like
meal
promote
time.
people to make a free company and get involved in their own freaking free company, you know, like people have been saying, instead of like relying
Yeah.
on Novice Network, and everything. Then yeah, make it more
Yeah.
viable. I mean, they've been
Yeah.
making changes to free companies here and there, but not as much. You know what I mean? Last time they did a change was in Shadowbringers recently, and they added the ranks up and
Yeah, so
added more
we'll
space.
see.
So
We'll end up seeing like what the general statistic of usage is, but I still don't see it being something that's just going to be active all the time because it will take up a slot that's probably really necessary for your FC to be functionally correct.
exactly. We've got items containing a random minion or amount will be added to the Grand Company Seal Exchange. I'm in love with this because so many people were bitching, going like, "Oh, we got loot boxes now," and it's like, okay, if you have max retainers like a lot of people do that play the game a lot, you max out on Grand Company seals faster than you could blink.
Yep.
Doing that plus dungeons, oh my god. So like depending on how much they cost, first off, the loot box itself, it could be cheap, it could cost you like, half your freaking tokens, but it's gonna be something to invest your tokens in when you're just like, okay, what do I spend my shit on? Like, what am I gonna do, stack up more glamour prisms now, or like stack up more apart from my ventures that I need for retainers, Or it's like, it'd be nice to pre-queue the next actions to activate instead of them falling off, but otherwise I have no issue with 2
Yes.
buffs. Yeah, that would be nice. You're right, Arya. It'd be cool to have like a scheduled set for like them to just pop up instead of having to keep putting them on. That would be cool. But yeah, I'm excited for the little loot box thing. Not to mention, they mentioned it gives you a random minion or amount. It's probably, I'm guessing it's either going to be, I don't know if it's going to be newer stuff, because if it is newer stuff, then that adds incentive again to finally doing Grand Company seals again.
Well, they also said that it's not exclusively a minion or mount from those boxes. Like you could get firecrackers. So have fun with your hearts. Yay!
Yeah. But it could be older content. I think probably most likely that you'll be getting as rewards. But that's still cool though, honestly.
The thing I'd like to see is that if they do that, that they make it tied to the specific faction. So like, you would get like an Immortal Flames base mount. You would get, so that it would kind of incentivize people to do more than just that. I'm gonna talk about this company.
Yeah. And next up we have, so this I wanted to talk about because so many people made jokes about this. The Immerse Game Pack Final Fantasy 14 edition. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, and you haven't went to the website, I have it linked right now. It's in my stream for the actual page for the 360 spatial audio. It's honestly pretty badass. So like, you can, I'll play it after this as well, just for everyone to like watch. Because if you have headphones on right now or anything, or if you're listening with headset on, it is a tech demo that shows you what the game will sound like. And I played it last night real late, but it was obviously really late, so we didn't get much around to that. So it's honestly awesome. Like, it's Soken's own project, and everyone knows Soken. Like, he's a genius. He's a god with music. Like, when it comes, people made jokes about this, like, oh, it's a third-party program. I thought they said they never get involved third-party program. It's music. Dude, 14, like, Final Fantasy in a nutshell. They're a freaking orchestra. Like, they're like, platinum records, bro. Yeah, they're like chef's kiss when it comes to music. They have been since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, come on. That's just what they're known for.
The fact that Soken came up with the entire soundtrack for 5.3 while in hospital, like, he's God.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Forever immortalized as video game God.
Oh, people don't like it when you put people on a pedestal. Careful now. They get pissy when you
on a pedestal,
Soken's work ethic is
you don't have to like my opinion, but you're not going to tell me why I'm wrong.
But there's like
Soken's work ethic and commitment is
and he wasn't forced to do the music either. He like the people like they were upset he didn't tell anyone he was dealing with that when he was making the music. He didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, until afterwards when it came out and everyone was like, "Are you serious? You were dealing with that and you still made us have you write songs? What the fuck, bro?" Like,
we put them on pedestals because more people need to be like that. So selfless and hardworking and caring about others.
Well, inadvertently, him doing that, he even admitted it helped him get through it. Like, that was his way of
mechanism and everything.
Yeah, that was his way of coping, like putting his mind elsewhere to like keep going, basically. And he was able to fight cancer off doing that. I mean, that's honestly like happens to a lot of people that do that. They put their mindset somewhere else and they focus on keeping going and just fighting it. And then, that's the way you got to do it. You got to stay positive and shit like that when you're dealing with it. I mean, that's what he did.
Soken is the true musical warrior of light.
Yeah, literally. Pretty much. And then Arya said, it's not even a third party, though. It's early access. So I'll get around to that in a second because we explained it. So this came up and people were like, wait, what's this mean? I'm confused. Do we have to pay for it now? It's like, so we do for the license. So the way this is going to work is for everyone that pre-ordered Endwalker, we're going to be able to use it for 14 days for free. The whole like spatial sound system that they made for the game now. And the pre-purchase for it begins with 2 major benefits, which is cool. We get 20% off on it. Okay, because we pre-ordered. We get early experience to see if we like it as well. If we don't like it, we can just not use it. I recommend people get involved on it and sign up. And I had the link up there on my stream. Oh my god, I tried it. I'll show you guys here in a minute what it sounds like, and I think it's awesome. It's really cool. Like, I'm honestly, I can't wait to play Endwalker with like the sound system headset. It's so much more immersive. I'm all about immersion when it comes to games. That's a big feature.
I have to try and get a new headset.
It worked just fine with mine that I had on.
The headphones?
Yeah, it was so like I used my headphones and it was, oh my gosh, it was cool. It definitely sounded a hell of a lot better. And this is their own, like, they did a video on it, and it's their own little new system that they specifically made for the game. It's Soken's little, like, project, basically.
Yeah, it's this pet project.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I really want to like this. I really, really do. Right?
I'll show you the tech
demo. I have a long-running history with emergent audio technologies that just never cooperates with me.
Oh, I get that, yeah. But this is an in-game feature. Kind of like you go in the menu, you just click it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they know what they're doing when it comes to integrating it properly. And it doesn't sound that hard to do.
Age.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up real quick to show you guys on this video.
I'm not leaving.
Okay. So here's
I'm watching
the
the
actual
stream, too.
here's the embody of it. I'm gonna turn it up all the way. So this is what it sounds like.
Shit. Paladin?
Are you?
Shiva got some new moves?
No. This is just a Shiva fight for Extreme.
I've fucking seen it.
Oh, what headphones do you have, Ren? I mean, it might be because you're listening to it in my stream too as well. I'm not sure if it sounds different or not. I can hear it, the difference on it. I'll go ahead and stop it there though. Okay, anyway, that's literally the tech demo for it though. It just keeps going on and showing the whole fight. Wait, can you guys hear the difference though on the stream or no? Okay, so it does work.
So like, I'm somebody that's like a really big audio nut, and there's some things that were going on there, and this is the issue with emergent technology with audio, especially with games like this. Like, for it to function the way that it would really bring immersion to me. Opening example, when the shield gets thrown, I love the echo variable, like the little distance echo that you hear for the actual function of the shield.
It's trying
But
to make it immersive because you're in a big
But
area.
the
You know what I mean?
shouldn't get louder as the distance carries further.
Well, you can turn it down still in game. You know what I mean? And you can also adjust it, like on the So
And,
what
like, there's
it looks
some
like.
things that end up sounding really crisp. There's some things that sound really muddy.
Yeah. You can adjust
like
all
distance,
this when turning it on. So you can like make it your own custom to make it more crisp or sound better. You know what I mean? It's like not as
and
loud.
Also, like they said, like the way that your ears are set up, it's gonna sound different than what even you're listening to in that tech demo.
Yeah. It's releasing with Endwalker Harpy, so if you pre-order
Hey, I'm
Endwalker,
only-
you'll get it for 14 days
I'm
free to
only
try.
40 seconds into the tech demo and I already want it.
I know, like for most people that like have a good headset and like hear it, you can also like people who don't like how loud it is or whatever, just turn it down when you get it. Like I said before, you can adjust it, like, turn the sounds down if you want.
Imagine hearing that on top of like the music in the background. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
like I would have sound effects turned down to a minimum, so that way it's not blaring my eardrums out, and then
But
like
you could still hear it in like its realism.
you still hear it in its realism, exactly. It's gonna be, oh god, the echoing and shit. Holy crap! You know how Skyrim was when it came out with that stuff? Oh, dude, like this kind of stuff we're big nuts about. Like Obla said, I'm excited. I'm excited they're actually trying to add in more immersion. We got that, and then let's see. We have what else is there? A big break they took, of course. Okay, the housing update. Here's next. Okay, so residential district Imperium.
Oh God, here we
We
go.
had it. New area will be based on Firmament. 24 wards plus 24 subdivisions are planned. Players may tour Imperium in patch 6.0. Land will be available for purchase from 6.1. I'll get into more of it in a second after the next slide. New land purchase system. Relocation of land is not ready for purchase. Will no longer be available as 6.0. Means you cannot just relocate and move automatically. New land evaluation will be removed. Means like the prices will not go down. And no longer be possible to grant brand new FC members authorization to purchase land or the rank of FC master. That way it kind of reduces botting in a way for like new alts to like jump into an FC and you can just assign them a role. And then the lottery system, of course, which we're going to get into next. In the end of the lottery for a private plot, character must have at least one class or job level of 50 or above. This is awesome because it's making a lot more available to people who are just botting accounts and trying to buy up the housing. You're going to have to actually grind up a bit, and people are not as many people are going to take the time to do that unless they're solely committed to just like buying everything. And that's going to take more and more work. It was so much more easier to do before with just like making a character, you know, and then getting your grand company rank to a certain degree, being able to do it that way. Another character in the same account service must not own a plot, so now you cannot do it on multiple players. It's only one house per account. That's freaking awesome. So now, if people want to freaking buy up all the housing, well then, okay, buy more accounts then. Which means Square Enix is basically getting a lot more money for the game if people are trying that hard to buy up all the housing. Which, go for it then. Because I know how well they're going to be using that for the game. Where is the next bit? The lottery schedule. So the lottery system I had a beef with at first. I'm only because I wasn't thinking about it in its entirety at first. I was worried that the way the lottery is going to work is when the Ishgard housing hits in 6.1, okay, you're going to go be able to put your money in, and you're going to, like, you see a plot, you want that plot, you're only going to be allowed to put in one ticket for that, and you got your ticket, and you're in the runnings for it. Now, if you have like 50 people in the runnings to do it, then you're going to be worried that that you're not even going to get it. Like, your chances are really slim, right? So then why can't they let you be able to vote on more housing plots to put your name in to have a chance? Like, basically putting your name in to have a chance at multiple plots. So if you get one, then you can choose, or if you got multiple, you can only choose one still. You can't just buy them all, obviously. But I was worried at first about this because I wasn't thinking that since the changes are happening where you can only have one house per account, that means that once someone buys that house, they're obviously giving up their other house. So it's going to be hand in hand. So it's going to be fine. It'll work out just great. I was worried because I thought, okay, well, when this drops, lottery's going to be up. Everyone's going to vote on all the housing, and after one period of lottery, they're all bought up and gone. And you missed your one chance with one plot. But then, of course, like, unless they're new players and stuff, all the housing that people had, they moved from, they're going to be open as well. It's going to be a lot better system. People were worried at first that it's like a bandage, but they just implemented a lot more that we didn't think about before. So now they're adding way more into it than we initially thought. It's going to be a lot harder to just bot it now. You can have your friends help you try to buy a house and per se and everything, but now it's going to be a lot easier to get a hold of one. I mean, it was already hard at first to get a housing. Housing's always been an issue, but at least now it's more fair. If people can afford a house, then there you go. So that's gonna be really nice. So yeah, this system is gonna be, I'm all for it. It's a good idea. Each player will only get one lottery of one plot during each lottery period. Lottery entry will take place at each empty plot's placard. Of course, players will pay the full price of the plot upon entry. Unsuccessful players will be refunded in full. Players cannot withdraw if entering a lottery. So that's going to be really nice. And then long live house flipping. I mean, you only have one house, though. Winning entry can be confirmed via plus placard. Winners must claim possession of their land with this period or it will be forfeit. Only 50% of the purchase price of forfeit land will be refunded. And they even said they're giving people 90 days to get their money back. And people were complaining like, well, how long have we got to get our refund? And it's like, well, 90 days is a long time. If you can't log on in 3 months to get your shit.
Unless you're going to prison after buying your house, you'll be fine.
Unless you're going to jail or something after you. I'm like, no, come on.
However, I do see there being some potential abuses being done with that.
It's gonna be a lot harder to abuse it though now.
Yeah, but I mean, like somebody waiting literally 89 days and then taking it just to, deny squares.
All right, it's like you could lose a house twice over in that time. Oh, what do you mean? You don't like? I don't think you have to relinquish your current house to vote for another one. They didn't specify that. Like because what I think is like you can only own one house per account, but after you put in for a house and you've confirmed as winning that house plot, you would have to get rid of the current one before confirming to take that one.
You can do one house per character.
Demo timer is 45 days. Oh, demolition, yeah. Oh, you're talking about if you went to prison, are you? You'll lose 2 houses in that time. Oh, 90 days. Yeah, you could lose 2 houses in that time. This is going to be a nice system change, though. And then, of course, the data center Oceana that they discussed before, currently planned to open in February 2022. Sorry. Data center will be called Materia. Now, that's cool because it's a lot of Final Fantasy referencing right there. That's going to be a cool data center.
I think they've just kind of run out of general referencing. So
yeah.
It could also be a sign of the times of what they might be transitioning into.
Yeah.
Ish.
Now,
maybe.
Of course, the Materia data center will be treated as new worlds with free world transfers and more bonuses available. They're going to have probably now Road to 80 because of the new expansion when it comes out. They're going to be giving you Gil. Last time they gave us like, what was it, $1 million? Babe, how much was it they gave us on transfer?
Like 1.5 million.
They gave us 1.5 million on transfer.
There was money for the furnishings and the money for the house, so 3 million total.
3 million total. Yeah, so they gave you a lot of
reimbursement.
Thank you. Yeah, they give you a lot of money back basically on anything you owned before.
It's like around 1.52 million to buy the plot itself,
Exactly.
and then extra to buy the building.
Exactly. So this is gonna be really nice. Not just because of that, but they're always wanting to push. Last time they had a server transfer was when Crystal came out, and that was when Malboro got split from Primal and went over, and that's when we moved to Lamia. During that period, a lot of housing opened up. A lot. That's how we were able to snag our mansion back then. And we got lucky with that. So, like, that was just literally luck that we weren't getting botted. So, like, now, because we got that, this is also going to help even out the player base, not just by, like, their play style, but, like, with the general, like, congestion with the servers. This is what we're hoping for. So, like, that way it's not as much stress on the game itself. Because, like, with people moving over to the new data center and it's not as packed, more of the servers can open back up for new players, new characters, more housing can become available. A new data center with housing, that's a big deal. Especially with the lottery system coming out in it. Oh my gosh. They already said that the Ishgarding housing is 1,104 houses. That's with the new implemented lottery system. So take that with one area and apply that to an entire data center. That's like a lot of housing now. That's going to be a lot easier to get involved into. So it's going to be I feel like the system's going to be a lot better now once the Oceana hits next year. Everything's going to be a lot more smoother and easier to get into. I just hope it goes smooth, honestly, once they implement it.